On this episode of RPA, the 4 a.m. phone call
A little bit nervous.
that could transform
How you going, young fella?
an entire family.
12 months after your operation, 1 in 10 people are no longer with us.
New Aussie Brooks,
My face started going numb on this side.
mystery diagnosis.
What is it?
We're not sure what it is.
Wow, this is a lot.
And the decision
Your heart runs here and your big vessel, the aorta, runs round like that.
that may have saved Harry's life.
Sometimes the lining can split.
Up until recently, 25-year-old John was the very definition of an action man. Scaling heights he never thought possible. Pretty remarkable stuff, considering he was born with a genetic liver disease.
2 years ago, I'll be climbing, racing up walls, easy peasy. These days, I'm definitely struggling more than I used to. After climbing, after an exercise, I'm just completely drained for like 2-3 days. It takes me so long to recover.
John's liver is now failing. His bright yellow jaundiced skin is a telltale sign.
Obviously, yellow skin, I'm basically a Simpsons character. When I talk to people, I tend to look away just because I don't want them to notice my yellow eyes. It feels hard, you know?
It's just another blow for someone who takes pride in their appearance.
Through climbing, I managed to build a little bit of muscle and it was amazing because, I'm suddenly not that little skinny runt per se, I'm a little skinny runt with a little bit of muscle, and it was a massive boost in my confidence and it was amazing. And I could just tell from myself, I was, suddenly, going out and seeing friends and, talking to girls and all this stuff. But now I can't do it and it's hard, like a passion you have, for the entire, most of your life and something that's changed my life. It's difficult to not be able to do what I love.
Now, his only option is a liver transplant. Without it, he has only months to live.
I've got my shorts, I've got a couple shirts. Yeah.
John's mum, Roz, has also needed to find strength she never thought she had.
It's tough. I mean, a lot of people people say, how do you cope? Well, you just do. You have no choice. You just do have to cope.
John's now so sick, he's been put on top of the list to receive a donor organ if one becomes available.
The top of the list is a bit of a challenge in that it depends on, needing to be a tissue match. So once it's a match, they call whoever's going to receive it, and then you've got to get to the hospital within
like an hour or two.
So with his bag packed, John's ready to jump the minute the hospital calls.
I've got my phone ready and waiting, so could be any moment. It could be through this right now. I could get a phone call, so who knows? Speaking of which, I need to make sure it's on sound. No, I'm good. I still that little bit of worry in me, how it'll go, the aftermath, the recovery.
Yeah.
But in my mind, there's no real point of worrying about all that because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
The roller coaster is going to go however it goes.
Yeah, I get it. I'll just try not to be worried. I'll try not to cry, all of that sort of thing. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, fine.
I know.
Liver transplants are complex, physically and emotionally. Both John and his mother know for him to live, someone else's loved one must die.
It's such an amazing gift. It is a truly amazing gift. Very special. It makes me quite upset. Thanks, Matt. Yep.
An ambulance crew heading for RPA have already alerted the ED about their incoming patient.
75-year-old gent, about 2 a.m. this morning, fairly sudden onset central chest pain radiating through to the back.
Crushing chest pain is a sign something could be wrong with Harry's heart.
Harry, I'm in one of the ED consultants, and the pain that you have now on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst you can imagine, 1 hardly any pain, what number would you give your pain?
8.
8. So 8 down to 4.
Emergency consultant Dr. Ian Lee first needs to determine if Harry is having a heart attack. Then immediately brief cardiologist Dr. James Weaver.
There is a characteristic chest pain that is central chest. It's often a heavy pain. It can radiate to the left arm or right arm, to the neck, can be associated with sweatiness or breathlessness. But unfortunately, every patient is different.
And what was the character of the pain? Sharp, tight, tearing, squeezing, burning, stitch?
It was pain was accelerating up right in the middle of my chest.
Yep.
Then it went to the back.
To the back. Whereabouts in your back? Between the shoulder blades, to the left or the right, or?
Just here at the back of the neck.
Back of the neck. Okay.
Intense pain in the upper back is not typically a sign of a heart attack, but it can be a sign of something far more sinister.
The concern is that he's getting a dissection, which can be a tearing or a splitting of the main blood vessel in the heart, and that manifests as a tearing pain at the back between the shoulder blades. Your heart runs here, and your big vessel, the aorta, runs round like that and brings the blood around from the body. Sometimes the lining, the endothelium, can split.
If this is what's happening, it's catastrophic for Harry.
So we'll quickly get you around to the scanner.
Oh, hey, it's Nick here in emergency. Just wondering if you guys are ready.
But I'm hoping it's going to be negative. But we'll see, yeah.
Without a liver transplant, John will not survive. So everything liver specialist Dr. Simone Strasser and transplant surgeon Dr. Andrew Jakes have to tell him today is critical.
So we're going to have a bit of a talk about how things have been going.
I'm definitely feeling much more fatigued, just in day-to-day. Like, in the mornings I'll be all right, but by the afternoon I'm pretty much sort of zonked out.
When you're talking transplantation, you're really looking after people who are very, very sick, who have very few choices left in terms of what is going to prolong their life. It really puts you in there with a person and their family at a point where they're really, really desperate. Do you ever remember being well?
I think my well has always been my, just my normal.
Your normal?
Yes, unhealthy, I guess.
But you've got worse the last few years.
Definitely. So definitely in the last 2-3 years, it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
And more so in the last about 6 months, I've definitely felt much different.
It's hard to pick when the right time to do a transplant is.
Absolutely.
But at the moment, you're clearly deteriorating. You're more jaundiced. You're having hospital admissions now with infections.
Yeah.
So we're pretty worried that we need to get this transplant done soon.
Yeah, sooner rather than later.
Liver transplantation in the Australian context is virtually 100% around deceased organ donation. And by that I mean a donor who has died within an intensive care unit and they and their family have consented to organ donation.
We're really grateful for that.
Absolutely.
So that gives you this opportunity for hopefully a long-term success.
It's a gift of
life, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the operation itself, it's not a small undertaking. It's one of the biggest operations we can actually do.
Yeah, right.
There's significant risks attached. Not everybody survives this process. So we're constantly balancing the use of a donor organ, the benefit to the patient, but also the benefit or the loss of benefit to the rest of the waiting list, to the greater community if we get that decision wrong. So it's a huge responsibility.
And probably the most intimidating thing that I ever say to patients is what we're talking about when we talk about complications. 12 months after your operation, we usually say about 1 in 10 people are no longer with us. So there's a 1 in 10 chance that this won't be a success. So that's a pretty real number.
41-year-old Canadian Brooke is new to Australia.
I've been living in Australia for about 5 months now. I love it. I love it. I live by the beach. I have an amazing job. I have an amazing community. Like, I wouldn't trade it. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Yeah.
But no sooner had she arrived when things started to unravel.
I started feeling really, really crippling headaches, and they were really abnormal. They didn't feel the same as any other headache or migraine that I've ever had. It started to get worse, and I started to lose feeling in my face. My eyesight started to change in my right eye. Probably about 2 months ago, I ended up in emergency, and they did an MRI just to check for stroke and found what was the first diagnosis was an arachnoid cyst.
That first diagnosis was a huge relief for this new Aussie.
At that time, we weren't concerned about it because arachnoid cysts are often congenital. They've been in your body a long time. Many people have them. They don't grow. They're just there. So I left the hospital actually quite at peace. And on the car ride on the way home, we got a call from the neurosurgeon, and he said, "We're more concerned. Are you still at the hospital? You should stay there." That was definitely a confronting moment, and a moment that made me go, okay, like, what's going on with me right now?
Doctors have now advised Brooke that brain surgery is the only way to truly know what's going on.
I actually have something in my head that's causing potential damage. We don't know what it is. It could be cancer. It could not be, but we don't know. And in order to know, they have to cut out part of my brain. And you know, that doesn't really ever come as good news.
With her family 13,000 kilometres away, this is a frightening operation she'll have to face alone.
This isn't just something I get to like tap out of. You know, I'd love to say that it's gonna be over, you know, once the surgery's done and it's just gonna be done, but I don't know. So we'll take that wave when it comes.
In the early hours of a wintry morning, John receives the best wake-up call he's ever had. A donor liver has become available. But although he's at the top of the transplant list, he'll only get it if he's the perfect match.
That decision's got to be made pretty quickly. We've usually got about 20 minutes to make that decision when we have a donor offer. And we've got to get the ball rolling. The clock starts. We've got coordinators, we've got nursing staff, we've got the medical staff to all feed into that process. And we have the recipient to get into hospital, assess, make sure that they are suitable to be transplanted that day.
John's life is about to change forever.
Okay, bye.
All right. I woke up at like 4 a.m. to a phone call to come in, pretty much. Coming in with me, Mum. Sending messages to all my friends and family, let them all know what's going on.
Okay, I'll go and park the car, all right?
Okay.
I'll come back.
Love ya.
All right, love you, darling. See you soon. Good day, John.
Yeah, I'm good. All happening.
How you feeling?
Excited. A little bit nervous. Sorry, how you going?
Hi.
I'm here for a transplant, for a liver transplant.
I don't know what it was, 4:40 in the morning, you know, gets the call to come in type of thing, you know.
Oh, yeah, I can see.
If the hospital couldn't get onto John, the hospital would ring me for me to ring John, but he obviously woke up. So, yeah, so it was John ringing me saying, hey, Mum, you know, it's on.
But there's still a lot of hoops John must jump through.
I'm just having a liver transplant today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah, very excited.
Basically what happens is he'll undergo some blood tests and some general tests just to make sure that there's nothing medically predisposing him to the transplant. I haven't heard anything, you know, to state that it's not going to go ahead at this point, but you know that there's always a small chance of that happening.
I do know that, yeah.
But we just have to go through all of the workup.
Yeah, of course.
The blood tests have been sent,
Yep.
but the results aren't back yet, so we just need to go through them, make sure everything's fine. So you've had a COVID swab,
Yep.
you've had an ECG,
Yep.
we just need to get a chest x-ray as well, okay? So after patients get called in, transplants can get cancelled if the donor's unsuitable once our surgical team actually is there and assessing the donor. But, you know, it's a dynamic decision and John's aware of that.
I'm almost on like a roller coaster, I guess. You know, I'm just kind of sitting there in the seat, kind of going wherever it takes me. So that's how it feels at the moment. Just in case you're...
All right, just in case I can't come in. Okay.
I love you.
All right, darling. Oh, okay. Okay. Hopefully they'll let me go in the room with you.
Who knows?
Okay.
With initial testing complete, all that's left for John to do is wait.
Feel really sorry for the people that obviously John's getting his chance to live a normal life and they're, you know, unfortunately have lost somebody from their family. That's the tough thing about a transplant.
Good time to charge my phone. I'm sure my mum's a little bit worried sitting out there by herself, kind of waiting, but hopefully soon enough I'll be taken up to the ward and she can join me. And I think my dad and my sister are getting relatively close to getting home and they'll be travelling up as well. It's just waiting and can't do much else, unfortunately.
Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Dr. Wong.
How are you today?
I'm tired.
You're tired? Yeah.
Today at RPA, Dr. Johnny Wong will be taking her through her impending brain surgery.
So last time we spoke, you were telling me that you were initially having some headaches and some facial numbness.
Yeah, I started getting severe headaches and my face started going numb on this side, on the right side. Hearing decreased, eye can't, inability to focus.
I'm definitely biased in saying the brain's the most important organ in the body. And a lot of it, we don't really understand how all the neurons are interconnected and what makes, a person have certain thoughts, certain feelings, certain aspirations. When I look at the scans, the area here contains a lot of fluid. Okay. And usually when we see that, that's most consistent with an arachnoid cyst.
Okay.
But the thing that doesn't quite fit with the overall picture, it's not quite consistent, is that I would have expected the cyst to have been present in the scan 7 years ago.
Right.
And for something that is growing and enlarging, it could be a cystic type of brain tumour.
And how will you determine that?
We make a cut and go through the skull, and we'll go straight into this fluid area.
Okay.
We'll take some biopsies or samples along the cyst wall so that the pathologist can analyse that,
Okay.
I think the beauty of neurosurgery that you can make such a big difference to someone's life, but it's a double-edged sword. You can just as quickly hurt someone, and you can just as easily have a complication where, and they wake up, they have a stroke. And I think it's this high risk, high reward sort of specialty. So one of the things that I'll be concerned about will be vision, particularly in the top left-hand corner of your visual field. The other problem that I'm worried about is your speech. You're left-handed, and about half of left-handers have their speech centre on the right-hand side. And so if we were to disturb that, then there would be difficulty understanding or generating speech. I'm hoping that we're not going to be causing much deficits or disability from operating. The other thing that I didn't mention is that because the temporal lobe can be affected by seizures, that's another thing that we need to, I need to warn you about. But I think the knowledge of what it is vital to work out what the next steps would be for you.
Right, and so I guess the biggest thing we're waiting on is just the confirmation, what is it?
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's that is the dilemma at the moment, that we're not sure what it is.
Wow, this is a lot.
It is a lot. But we'll get through it.
While John patiently waits on the final go-ahead for his liver transplant, the rest of his family are racing in from out of town. Dad Robert and Uncle Dave came straight from their camping trip, and Sister Tiffany is right behind them.
I was trying my best to sort of, keep a positive outlook and, making jokes, cracking jokes here and there, just to keep the mood light, because it's difficult for them. It's difficult for everyone.
We're just a really small, close little family, and which perhaps makes it even a little bit harder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's only the few of us.
Yeah, and it's just unimaginable to think of someone leaving that unit.
Yeah. No, you'll make me upset.
I'm not.
Now you're making yourself upset.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said it.
It's as scary as hell. It hasn't really got to me probably yet. I'm still thinking about it.
After a 4 a.m. start, at 9 p.m, there's finally some action.
Might be it. That's looking positive. Oh wow. Yay.
The transplant is on.
Okay, good. Oh, good luck. Yep, good luck. We will love you. Okay?
Love you.
You'll be safe.
I shall.
Have fun, little fella. See you on the other side. Okay? Love you.
Sure,
buddy.
Love you.
See you, mate. Oh, it's going to be the best one, eh?
And Jono, just remember,
get to see your true colours after
Yeah,
this.
yeah, exactly. No more.
No more Simpsons.
All right.
Okay.
They're more sort of emotional about it all than me, you know, because for them, like, I'm going through it, of course, but for them, you know, it's unknown, you know, like, they could lose me, and that's hard.
75-year-old Harry's situation is critical.
So Harry presented with chest pain. He had a cardiograph performed by the ambulance officers. They then directly talk with us and we plan his rapid care through the emergency department.
He was also complaining of a searing pain in his upper back. A sign his aorta is tearing. If it ruptures, it could kill him. So they need to scan Harry's heart immediately.
Fantastic, okay.
His aorta is intact.
Scan looked all right, Harry. Looked fine.
But Harry's chest pain isn't getting any better.
This shows that you've got elevation here, which would be consistent with a likely heart attack. Thank you, team.
Cardiologist Dr. James Weaver takes over.
The best treatment for him is to go straight to our cardiac catheter laboratory, which is where we perform coronary angiogram.
Just going to listen to your heart.
Because the quicker we get in there and fix a blockage, the more heart muscle we can save, and the better that is for the patient. That's why this is always an emergency procedure that we try and do as quickly as possible.
Dr. Weaver injects a dye to make any blockages in Harry's arteries visible.
I can now see that there is a blockage in the artery at the front of the heart, as well as other blockages in the arteries at the back of the heart.
Every second it's starved of blood supply, Harry's heart is further damaged.
So we inflate it, opening up the blockage, which is happening now, and then deflate, and then withdraw the balloon. And now we've taken the balloon out and we're going to pass a stent through to keep the blockage open.
A stent is a tiny metal mesh tube that opens inside the artery to form a permanent supporting scaffold.
We're deploying the stent, which you can see on the screen.
A little bit of discomfort there, Harry. Just the stent going in, okay?
So the stent's in now, and the blockage is open. 12, 14.
Normal blood flow has now been returned.
How are you feeling, Harry? Are you feeling better?
Yes.
Feeling okay?
I'm fine.
He's very lucky he came in today, and getting a balloon and stent treatment quite possibly has saved his life.
Just 22 minutes after the procedure began, Harry's heart is functioning well, but the extent of the damage is still unknown.
Hey, Brooke.
Hello.
I'm Chris Thompson, one of the anaesthetic doctors here.
Hi.
I'll be looking after you. How are you?
Good.
You okay?
Yeah.
Well, welcome here. This is where you'll be able to go to sleep and set aside all those concerns and just let me look after you.
We need to find out what the nature of this might be. This potentially could be a brain tumour. And the treatment for brain tumour obviously is very different to a benign congenital cyst. And so the prognosis for brain tumours is still pretty poor. That's my biggest concern, but it's better to know early rather than late. So now we've got the skull exposed, so we can make our bony opening. The preliminary steps to an operation, getting through the skull and then opening the membrane around the brain, all that is pretty much routine for me now. Excellent, and there we go. Let's keep the bone. We'll put that back in later. But there's always a critical part of an operation where there's a pressure point.
While the early signs are encouraging, only testing will determine if this mass contains any tumour.
We're able to preserve the brain tissue and still be able to make an opening deep down right next to the brainstem to allow the fluid to communicate. And I'm going to take this sample now, and just to make sure, verify there's no tumour component to it. This is a piece of bone we cut out in Brooke's skull, and for us to put this back into her skull, we'll put these little plates on. The most nerve-wracking part of my day is that 15 minutes or so when the patient is waking up. You don't know whether you've caused any harm, and you just don't know whether they're going to wake up with a deficit or with a stroke.
75-year-old Harry is one lucky man. After surviving a heart attack 1 week ago, today he'll learn just how much damage has been done.
I actually find great satisfaction from all facets of my job, but I do find it particularly rewarding to be able to see a patient when they're unwell, to be able to fix their artery and resolve a heart attack. And then I get to see them for the next 10 or 15 years and prevent future heart problems.
Thanks.
We can see on this ultrasound, you can see the heart is beating, and we can look to see how strong all the areas of the heart are. And when we shift the ultrasound around to a different angle, we're now looking at the tip of the heart here, which you knew has some weakness. We will see some recovery in heart muscle over the next 6 months. How much exactly it recovers and how strong the heart eventually gets, we will only know with time by repeating an ultrasound of your heart. Harry has made a very good recovery over the last few days. He's tolerating his medications well, but he does have some heart damage from the heart attack. Yeah, I think now what we've done is we've managed to restore blood flow to your heart, possibly better than it has been for many years. And the main ongoing issue is trying to strengthen that heart muscle through the medications and your optimisation of diet and exercise.
Well, thanks, that's good news.
Thank you very much, Harry. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Glad things are going well.
After his brush with death, Harry has a message he wants everyone to hear.
If you do have any sort of chest pain, you're not sure what sort of pain is that, you must go to the hospital. You must. It's very, very important because you don't know what's going to happen to you in a few seconds later.
"17 anxious hours after arriving, John is finally in surgery to receive his new liver. A large surgical team led by Dr. Jerome Lawrence is working through the night.
The resources that are devoted to transplantation are sort of similar to what you might encounter in a major military campaign. Frequently, a donation procedure has occurred, a team has been flown somewhere across the country, people have been dragged out of their beds at various hours of the morning just to get the organ there.
Fun, no?
What you see in the operating room is sort of the final group of people brought together to do the procedure. They're all people I know and really enjoy working with.
We're just suturing the bit of the liver that connects directly to the heart. It's a bit tight, like the space is a bit tight because John is so small. And this liver is actually quite large and we don't have much space to see and move the instruments. That's why it's a little bit tense.
If you have an organ that's just a bit too big and you can't see properly, then the amount of time between coming out of ice and the reperfusion, the restoration of blood flow, will be longer. And so its function may not be as good.
Stand back for a sec, sorry.
John is incredibly brave. He's been through a lot, and it'd be really great for him if we can do a good job.
I was concerned that it wouldn't be enough space to close the abdomen because the liver transplant's too big, but it's not too bad. It's a reasonable size match actually. The surgery has gone well. He's had no major bleeding. The graft seems to be working well. But, he's still got a long way to go. There's lots of potential for complications always in liver transplantation, so we're not going to get overexcited. It's early days. We'll have to wait and see.
Hey, Brooke. Brooke, welcome back. We've done it.
Brooke's risky brain surgery is over.
Yeah, we're done. We're all good. Don't worry about a thing. Everything went perfectly, okay?
And 2 days later, Dr. Johnny Wong is relieved to see she's come through unscathed.
Hello. Hey,
Hi,
Brooke.
Dr. Wong.
How are you doing?
Doing all right. How you going?
all right?
Yeah.
Have you got much pain in your head?
Been having a lot,
I'm feeling a lot of pain. Yeah.
but I think everything's starting to wake up.
Starting to wake up, yeah?
That's what I'm feeling.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I was watching the RPA show and I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. That was my dream. I sometimes pinch myself that I'm here because I didn't think I'd get here.
And how do you think your face is feeling? Any changes?
My face is feeling, I can feel it now.
Okay, good.
Which is a start, yeah.
And how do you think a speech is?
Speech is okay.
You can think of the words you want to say?
Yeah.
You can get them out pretty well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm just slower at everything. Slower
Yeah.
at walking, slower at eating, slower at
It'll
talking.
take some time to bounce back. Yeah, okay.
So-
I have something to show you.
Okay.
Okay. You had a CT scan recently. So just to demonstrate to you, this was the MRI that you had done before the surgery, and that's a scan after the surgery.
Wow.
So you can see here that the cyst was much bigger,
Yeah,
and now it's half the size.
that's so good.
Okay. So the focus now is to just gradually recover from the surgery,
Yeah.
get back up on your feet, and once you feel a bit steadier and not in too much pain, we might be able to let you go home towards the end of the week or midway through the week. Just depends how you are the next few days.
That's great.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll catch up with you later on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
The morning after John's liver transplant, parents Roz and Robert aren't leaving his bedside in intensive care.
We're just so happy that this happened for John. It just seemed like such a long time coming.
Really, really happy. I've got tears, but happy tears. Wasn't expecting to see him awake and responding, even though he might be pretty tired. Oh, just wasn't expecting that. Like, the surgery only finished at like 2:30 this morning, and it's like 7:30 in the morning, and he's awake and chatting to people and things like that. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. So yeah, happy. Everybody's, ringing everybody, telling them. Everybody can't believe it.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Hey, how are you? How's John? Feels like a train hit you?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Got a bit of a sore throat from that tube. You look good.
Thank you.
The operation went really, really well.
That's really good to hear.
It's transformational, and the aim of the transplant is to get them back to good quality health and just get back to their family, their friends, their society, their work, whatever they want to be doing. So it's a very exciting area to be working in. You're still pretty jaundiced or yellow. I expect that to settle over the next few days. It doesn't go away quickly. It is actually coming down, and I expect over the next week it should hit normal. So he will start to get a normal colour back, and he's not been a normal colour for years, if ever. So at the moment you need lots of rest, and your biggest job is to do what the nurses tell you.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, well, I'll catch up with you in a few days.
Thinking about the liver itself, so what page was moving?
No, and I can't really share any of that information. All you need to know is that we've made a decision that there was a good graft. It was good to do the transplant. It was the most appropriate. But I can't actually share any of that information with you. But
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
But the liver's functioning beautifully. His kidney function's good. The thing about transplant, though, is it's a bit unpredictable. So things can happen. We expect the unexpected in this situation. You can develop some rejection. You can develop infections. You can develop bleeding. Lots of things can happen.
So for now, it's a waiting game.
Morning, Brooke.
6 days after her brain surgery, Dr. Johnny Wong has arrived at Brooke's bedside with the all-important results from pathology.
So I have some news for you.
Yeah.
And the pathology results finally come through.
Okay.
Good news. It's an arachnoid cyst.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry worried about it. It's definitely confirmed to be an arachnoid cyst.
Benign. Completely.
Benign.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is the best news ever. Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to show you was some of the photos from the operation.
Oh my goodness.
So that's the cyst. You can see how it's got a silver lining across it
Yeah.
and really clear fluid.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm quietly confident that will be all you need. Okay, and that you wouldn't we wouldn't have to come back. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great news.
And the news keeps getting better. Brooke's friends have flown in from Canada and are waiting outside for a very special reunion.
Exactly 6 months yesterday, Jenny saw me on a plane to start an adventure over to Australia, you know, and now I get to see her in a few minutes. And, you know, after having brain surgery and coming through this journey, and new beginning, it's a new beginning. So, pretty excited about that.
Hey, look, you've got your vest on. You made it. Thank you for being here. I love you. Of course I'm here. I know. Oh, that hurt. Sorry.
Putting my hat against the right.
Oh, let's see. Hey.
I don't have to wear this anymore.
So badass.
I know. Maybe well. It's pretty funny, hey?
Yeah. You look great.
Life has really changed over the last 6 months.
Here, you're on the side?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been 3 weeks since John's life-saving liver transplant.
You look transformed.
And his specialist, Dr. Simone Strasser, couldn't be happier with the result.
Got the pale white skin going, it feels good.
Have you ever been like that before?
Never.
So looking at you, I can really not even tell that you're a little bit jaundiced, I think, at this point. You've got white eyes there.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. You've also got a really nice haircut.
Oh, thank you. I was getting a little bit wild before.
That looks really good. So really you're on track. And what we're aiming for is that by the end of a year, that you're really only on 1 or 2 immunosuppression drugs and all the others really should have gone. He was very lucky. The donor that was available to him was perfect. Really started working straight away. And that helped him to recover very, very quickly.
Fast forward 5 weeks, and 25-year-old John's transformation is complete.
I never wanted to be the person with bad liver, or the person who's sick, the person who's this and that. I just wanted to be me and just be normal, I guess. Really excited to get back to climbing, get back to sports. Whenever I talk to any of my friends and anything, I sort of tell them how I'm doing. I show them a little picture of me before, you know, me being yellow and orange, and then a picture of me after, being pale and white, and I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. People that choose to donate are the true heroes, really, because without donations, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Just being straight up, and that's terrifying to think about. My whole family's been important. Everyone's been there for me, helped me out, so they've all just been amazing, and I honestly couldn't have done without them. Like, seriously, I couldn't have.
I couldn't be more thankful and just so pleased, because if whoever it may be out there hadn't donated their organs, my brother wouldn't be here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know, that's probably the biggest thing. Is a huge and amazing gift. Can't sort of say enough for them. Yeah, and here he is now, like looking so well, which is just fabulous.
I've got someone else's organ inside me, which is kind of crazy. I'm really, really lucky and really, really fortunate that, you know, I've gotten this chance to almost have a second life. Try to live my life the best I can, the healthiest I can, and, you know, make that person's sacrifice worthwhile, I guess.